Hi there, how is going? Today I want to speak about how to validate environment variable using Zod in an Angular application. This video is part of my series about how to validate object using Zod in a TypeScript application, and you can find more in my channel. But don't waste time and let's jump in it. The application is always the same. There is a search input where you can type the GitHub username and the application provides a search for you and print the result in the DOM. For instance, if you type Pupo, the application print the list of the user that match with this term. The application is pretty simple. There is an app component with the queries and the user list. Then there is a GitHub user component used to render the item on the list, in this case the user. And then we have a GitHub service that exposes the method to search the user in GitHub. Then we have our environment, so we have the environment schema and the environment types, and our loader that exposes the result of the ensure environment function, and this function check if the process.env object contains the environment as expected, otherwise raise an error and show an alert in this case. The goal of this content is remove the direct import of the environment and replace it with the dependency injection. So in this way the application has to register the environment on startup, and if they are all okay, the environment are available in all over the application. Otherwise the application raises an error and we have to fix it. To do that, we have to create a new file called provider inside of our environment folder, provider.ts. Then we have to create a new injection token, so export const environment equals to new injection token of type environment, and we can use the environment name. Then we have to create a new provider, so we have to export const environment provider of type value provider, and we can use the provide the environment token, and we can indicate use value our environment, and we can import them from our loader. Last but not least, we have to refactor the index.ts file, and we have to export the environment can use the types from model, and we have to export our provider. Perfect. Now we have to register the provider inside of our Angular application. To do that, we have to go to our main.ts file, and we can import the provider instead of the env object. So provider, and then we can indicate it inside of the providers array. Last but not the least, we have to refactor the if using the environment provider dot use value dot node.env. So if the node.env variable is equals to production, Angular enable the prod mode. Okay, the last step. Now we have to inject our environment inside of the GitHub service. So in the constructor, we can use the injector decorator and use environment private read only env of type environment, and we can use this path, and then we can remove the env import. Now we can use this .env in the get user method, and now our GitHub service use the environment from the DI. Okay, it's time to check the result. So if I go to my browser and I type Pupo, for instance, the application return the list of the user with this query. Double check if I go to my .env.local file and I change the nx GitHub per page variable from 100 to AAA, for instance, and I restart the server. Now the application show an alert because the nx GitHub per page variable is not a number but is a string with AAA value. If I restore the value with the right value and I restart again my server, now the application it's okay again, and I can type my name, for instance, and search for a user on GitHub. Okay, that's all. Today you have learned how you can validate your environment variable using Zod in an Angular application, and how you can register them as a provider in your DI services. So in this way you can check on startup of your application if all the environment are like expected. Otherwise you can raise an error and get a notification in your Sentry or something else. Okay, that's all. I hope you enjoyed this content, and if you like it, please hit the like button below, and if you wanna stay updated with my content, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you folks, and see you soon. Bye bye!